Hi, and welcome to a little chat about 10 fragrances that smell fresh and are going to carry you from spring into summer. I have 10. I can't believe I have 10 to talk about because I have a decent sized collection, but there's enough to share with you 10 different ones. Amazing. Welcome to the only room in my house where I could get any privacy right now. It's one of my kids' bedrooms and I had to take it over. So hope you can relate if your family's like crazy and chaotic and doing things all around the house. This is where I needed to escape. So hopefully it'll work out. And I appreciate you joining me. So let's get started. I'm going to share with you 10 different ones and some of the notes that are in them. Okay, first one is a little controversial. Some people love it and some people don't. Obviously, I'm being redundant, right? It is Vince Camuto's Amoré or Amor, whichever. I have the body mist. You might have the EDP or the EDT of this, and I just happen to have the mist. And this one, I really recommend. A lot of the criticisms were about how it dries on the skin, so I really recommend that you spray it on your clothes. And I always try to spray my clothes instead of myself. I know that that kind of limits the fragrance a little bit, but because of how it affects our hormones, sometimes when we use a lot of fragrance, I like to put it on my clothes. So in putting it on my clothes, I can smell it through the day. This lasts as well as a lot of different, like stronger fragrances would when I spray it on my clothes. And I just catch little whiffs of myself through the day and I really enjoy that smell. And it's made up of, I'm going to tell you some of the notes. I probably can't tell you all of them, but passion fruit, which is, I think, the note that not everyone agrees on, like kind of polarizing. Clementine, freesia, sandalwood, and others, but those were just some of the ones that stood out. And like I say, I can smell it. I can smell it for a long time after spraying it on my clothes. It smells so nice. If you like fresh and you like a fruit that's not too sweet, it almost has a bit of sweet and sour, which I love that kind of thing. Not everyone does. Then you will probably like Amoré. Okay, next, whether you have an imposter version or you have the original, I'm going to recommend Victoria's Secret Bombshell. And full disclosure, I have the InStyle version of Bombshell. It's a longtime classic and it scores probably one of the highest scores on Fragrantica. If you're familiar with that website, it's where people go on and rate it. They tell what notes they can smell in it and they rate it. It has maybe one of the highest scores I've ever seen. It also has passion fruit notes and it's definitely a fruity floral. It has pineapple, some citrus, some berries, some jasmine, and some wood notes. I find this one really easy to layer with. So because it has the pineapple, I feel like I could use some of my beachy smells with it. Some other kinds of scents could easily go with this one, and I do like layering. So it's really fresh, really nice, not too sweet, even if it has notes that sound like they would be. This, of all the ones, probably has the highest rating. Bath & Body Works Pure Wonder. And you might have gotten the glass bottle version. I believe it's the Eau de Toile. Might have been a parfum, not sure. But this is rated so well. It has super score. So if you look at the scores of fragrances, anything that's close to 4 or over, and this was 4.28, which is really high in case you're not used to comparing. And it is such a crowd pleaser. It smells classy and it's just so pleasant. It's got jasmine, rose, white amber. It is amber, but it does smell really light. So I thought when I smelled it that it had notes of orange blossom. You know, they don't tell you everything in the fragrances necessarily. So whether it's actual orange blossom or just the way they combine the jasmine, I don't care. I love orange blossom, but this is so good and such a crowd pleaser. Like pretty much if you wear this, you'll probably get compliments because it's not offensive to anyone. Or very few, very, very few. I'm sure there are exceptions, but very few. Okay, this one is so underrated. And I mean it. When I say that, I feel like this is so underrated. It really is. It is Sarah Jessica Parker's Born Lovely. And this fragrance To me, all I really smell are light flowers. Nothing heavy, beautiful. Spray it on my clothes. When I catch whiffs through the day, it makes me so happy. It's a little bit powdery, so it kind of dries to it's very clean, super clean. People will definitely know that you showered and have good hygiene. It is just such a pleasant, clean floral. So if you're looking for that, growing up, my mom always wore white linen, Estee Lauder's white linen, very classic and clean. I would probably put this in a category with that scent because it's just so light, fresh, clean. Love that. And in that, also in that same category, I believe this would probably have very similar notes. Victoria's Secret, one of their most famous of their body scents is Velvet Petals. And this is one of the flankers for that, Velvet Petal Splash. It has jasmine sparkle, pink lemon, and velvet petals. So I'm guessing the petals are some kind of floral, right? But it smells so nice. Again, it's not very sweet, if at all, only a tiny amount at all. If it is sweet, it kind of belongs in the category with this, with white linen. It would go in that category. So you could easily like take a shower, put that on, and just, you know, bask in your cleanliness. That's the best way to say it, I think. All right, now, this one I have mixed feelings about a little bit, but it is a crowd pleaser, so I definitely want to throw it out there. And it has one of the prettiest bottles of all time, Ariana Grande's Ari. It's been out for a while, so you've probably seen this around. It's in major retailers. It's in drugstores. It's been in Sephora. It's been in Ulta. It's been everywhere. I just love this bottle though. Isn't it so pretty? And the liquid's kind of like a blush color. So if for nothing other than the aesthetics, I really kind of love this. If you like something that smells like clean like shampoo, this is your scent. It has a definite like shampoo-y note. It couldn't really be offensive. It's not at all. It's a little bit young and a little bit shallow for my taste in a sense. I'm not throwing shade at Ariana's scents. I'm also at the same time not somebody who buys celebrity fragrance for the celebrity name because I don't fan that hard on most people. But let me tell you something else to wear. Oh, let me tell you what's in this one real quick before I lose my train of thought. It has raspberry, pear, grapefruit, rose, and marshmallow. Ariana's scents are known for having a marshmallow note, and that has it. And that was just her very first fragrance. That was her sticking her toe in the water of fragrance was Ari, and it was a huge hit. To give it more depth, I love this body mist. It's Soap and Glory. You can find this in major retailers and drugstores. And this is their original pink. And I liked this immediately because it does remind me a lot of Coco Mademoiselle by Chanel or Miss Dior. It smells like those. It has very similar notes to those, and those smell sophisticated and deep. You know, the notes that would be in this. It has bergamot or bergamot, however you prefer to say it, and rose, gardenia, and a little bit of patchouli. Now, when I say patchouli, it's not a heavy patchouli to my nose. I love Miss Dior and Coco Mademoiselle and Original Pink because it has patchouli, but it's not knocking you out with a patchouli. It's blended in a very sophisticated, feminine way for these scents. So these two together, I like them together. They're kind of yin and yang a little bit with how they make me feel age-wise, if that makes sense. You know, I am middle-aged. That makes sense. I'm taking a young scent, mixing it with a mature scent, and we land somewhere in the middle. Okay, this one, another Victoria's Secret Pastel Sugar Sky. Okay, this one has the notes that they claim. I make it sound like I'm accusing them. Vanilla Orchid Paints, Cotton Candy Skies. Oh, that's a sentence. Sorry. Vanilla Orchid Paints, Cotton Candy Skies, and Lavender Musk. To my nose, this smells like if you bottled your experience of going to the movie theater. And I mean that in a good way. It, to my nose, almost smells like popcorn, like soda, and like the mingling of a lot of people's perfumes and colognes all together. So it's a really interesting smell, but you know what makes me love this smell even more is mixing it with another one. So here's another pairing for you. Hollister's Canyon Escape. I bought this one as a blind buy. Side note, why don't we in English have an equivalent for never have smelled instead of blind, like never have seen? Why don't we have a word that means never have smelled? Or if there is one, let me know what it is in the comments. I don't know of a word. But anyway, I blind bought this bottle based on reviews because it had nice reviews. And it is, at first I wasn't sure about it. The more I gave it a chance, the more I really love it. It starts so juicy with mandarin and blood orange, and it also has cactus juice, so you hear all the juiciness. And then desert rose and solar notes, which is probably more citrus, but made to kind of just make us think about time in the sun. And cedar are some of those notes all together. So these two together, Canyon Escape and Pastel Sugar Sky, I recommend putting these two together, and they're neither one very expensive, so they're budget buys, and you can put them together. And this is a perfect, I think, brunch type scent, or girls' time, hanging out with your girls and going shopping. It gives a definite, these two together give a definite like daytime flirtiness. It's just, it's pleasant. Love it so much. Okay. And these were in no particular order, but this is my favorite, which I did sleep on. I would have never known that I was going to love this fragrance as much as I do. Again, it has nothing to do with celebrity attached to it. It has everything to do with the way it smells. And it is Moonlight by Ariana Grande. So similar to Ari, but a little bit different. This fragrance knocks my socks off. It's fresh and cozy. It's like that wrapped in a blanket that was just laundered and put through the dryer and is still slightly warm and just smells really good like a detergent. And it is just so good. And I think even we hesitate to think clean scents are sexy, but if a clean scent can be sexy, this is one I believe that is kind of both. And it has plum and blackcurrant, which are two fruit notes that I've learned that I enjoy so much. And marshmallow, again, Ariana Grande's signature marshmallow note, a little vanilla and a little sandalwood. But let me tell you, it is not super sweet at all. It definitely is just, it's fresh. It's not gourmand. I can hardly tell it has sweetness. It's subtle. It's more fresh than sweet. Okay, so, and it's kind of powdery, so it's probably got to have like an iris note in there, which iris is what makes notes kind of dry to that powderiness. And I've learned that I really do like powder notes. They're a little controversial, but I do like one that just dries down to that beautiful powder. So those are the top 10, and there were 2 pairings for you to try in that. How do you feel about pairings? Comment, let me know. Also, comment and let me know what platform besides YouTube you're hanging out on, because I want to know where to find you, where we can chill, where we can kick it, where I should be. So please comment that below. Appreciate you joining, and I'll see you next time.